What is it, Watcher?
And does what we learned about Wodica trouble you?
It stinks of her. It is justice, but if her greater purpose was to think Margaret would fall prey to such deceit. And Aethys. Widewin had always claimed to be invading Deerwood to free it. What if it were true? What if he had come to stop Wodica's plot before it began? Surely Aethys earned his death at Godhammer Citadel, but not for those reasons. Not to keep him silent. If such a thing has brought about this chaos, must we always be tools of gods? If Wodica and Margrin, if they are the cause of this, the Hollowborn, if the purges were never necessary, if Aethys was fighting back,
Then your Godhammer didn't save Deerwood, it doomed it.
so many lies. And Wodica, perhaps she is the next god to fall beneath the Godhammer.
Would it have been better had you been spared this knowledge?
No, I am glad to have walked this far with you, seen this truth. Perhaps it was what I was meant to see, with a watcher's eyes. All these dances of words and intrigues, machines of men, twisted, ripping the souls of children, and by the gods, the goddess of justice. If I could end her like Aethys, Margrin burned her once. One can do so again. Wodica, she must answer to her own justice.
Justice or revenge?
Anyone with a shred of spirit seeks both justice and punishment. It burns in the heart of anyone who lives. All seek it. If the world does not balance, we all drown in the oceans. And the gods would not care. Margrin, she must be redeemed. And punishing Wodica, that will serve.
Mogren was allied with Wodica. He tried to kill all the makers of the Godhammer.
Is this some final joke at my expense? To test my faith further? And why would you think that, Watcher?
The others who made the Godhammer, they all died, didn't they? That's why I saw their symbols fade from your staff.
If all you have are questions, then I have enough of those. She is a bitch of a goddess, to be sure. But even a whore only goes so far in crossing those she serves.
You said you left Ashfall without telling anyone of your departure.
You answer a question with a question. Then why did I feel her disappointment at Halgot? Why were we shamed?
Because I think she tried to kill you there.
Kill me? She is a goddess. I still drink from her burning breasts, Watcher. If she wished me dead, she could trace me to my source and kill me.
In the dream of the Godhammer, your spirit looked blurred, indistinct in the light, as if it had been sheared from you. Durant stares at you, his expression frozen, but he's silent, listening. If you had been damaged as I saw in the Godhammer vision, then she may be unable to see you as you once were. Durant turns from you for a moment, his face twists in thought, collecting emotion running across his features. Finally, he turns to you, his face steady.
There's no proof, Watcher. I was a fool to think you could help me see any farther than I could.
If you don't trust me, then trust your staff. Admit that the other Godhammer builders are dead. Durant turns to the staff, and for a moment, you see his eyes burning, taking in the edges of the wood. The symbols inlaid there, the elven faded circles.
They died in the blast, yes. The other 11. I was the only one to walk away. I thought we had wronged our goddess. That this was my trial, and if I could prove myself worthy of her, I should have known better. There is only one God of redemption, and I saw him ended.
Wow, this is turning into one hell of a freaking twist. Wow. As he studies the staff, you feel a wave of heat, terrible energy rolling forth from it in waves. So much so, it feels as if the God Hammer itself is alive and in his hands. And past it, you hear a cry like a child being born, and your eyes feel the flash of white. Then 100 imagined shades of purple and white, streaming and circling into the hollowing of a storm. And beneath it, the grinding of ancient machines of stone, rock, and metal, grinding and turning until all around you feels as if it's burning, sinking into the shadows of the earth. Beneath the ground, the only place where a spirit might find refuge. When your vision clears, you see Durance, his hands clutching the staff, and his eyes are bright, burning red. Atop the staff, the flame burns cleanly, brightly. As his gaze burns, he rips his gaze away and howls a bellowing horrid howl, like a wounded animal, and sweat pours down his brow. We can see that justice is served. We can see that justice is served to her and Wodika both.
To think I served her, I followed her. Now I shall serve no one. Wodika's lies must be answered. And now it seems I must take fire and war from a goddess's false claim as well. I still take from her strength as I did, for as long as it lasts. For I shall not cast her aside yet, until I have drained her dry and had my fill, just as she intended for me. For I have learned one of the lessons of the faithful. The faithful may wound a goddess greater than any enemy. A purification is coming, and this fire shall consume them both.
Then let's continue. An elf with the placid green eyes nods in greeting. Welcome to the Golden Grove, traveler.
Estramore?
Do you seek the wisdom of Arbalest, or simply to bask in Weretha's glory? Tell me about the Golden Grove. Who leads here? High Ovate Erona leads us. She sometimes journeys to Eldenshore to renew her strength. However, she's there now with some of her closest followers, in fact. Erona is a mighty elm among us. She's lived for generations. There are none who understand the world as well as she, and we are fortunate to have her wisdom to answer our questions. I'd like to know more about Erona. Why? You must meet her for yourself. She is wise and kind, and she has led our order from the beginning. Yet she walks among us and gives freely of herself. That is what so many of us cherish about her. She is present among us in a way that the gods never are. Tell me about the Golden Grove. We are the Ovates, druids, philosophers, and students of nature. We gather here to share our knowledge and celebration. She gestures to another elven woman standing near the entrance to the grove. Many travelers come to us for poultices and remedies. Belda understands the cures and poisons of nature like no other. What do you believe? We believe that knowledge is found in an earnest exploration of the natural world. We do not, as some have said, oppose the gods. We simply believe that we have found a brighter, more peaceful that. We simply believe that we found a brighter, more peaceful path. I missed a path. Path than devotion. And ventures to Elmshore in search of remedies prolong. I suspect that Iorna is the elven woman from the vision. Grove told me that I went over to Elmshore. All right, time to go to Elmshore. I do need to check something real quick, chat. Hold on. One second, chat. Sorry. Okay. I'm definitely going to talk with all the other gods. That's for sure. That's for sure. Looks like I missed some loot. Do 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 do. Maybe over here. Like, that's a secluded place, so they'll probably be there. Damn. An elf stands on a dais in the middle of a clearing. The ground is blanketed with leaves in various shades of rosette and gold. Her eyes are closed and her arms folded in front of her. A curtain of autumn yellow hair hangs in front of her face. As you draw near, she lifts her chin and looks at you with shifting hazel eyes.
Greetings, Estremor. You are among the Ovates of the Golden Grove.
And you are?
I, Ovate, an ancient elm among poles and saplings. We have taken root in the same soil, and the others grow in my shade. Their roots nourish my soil. My branches give them shelter. Together, we grow.
I'd like to know more about the Ovate.
Like the leaves of a tree, we are many sharing one source, one purpose. Living or dying, we nourish one another. The truths of the soul and of the body are written on every blade of grass and sung by every creature under the sun. We learn these truths and sing them back.
Ours is not the song of the gods, but of Wertha. This is why many of our numbers study the discourse of herbs and inhabit the skins of beasts. You're druids? Are you familiar with the ethic knoll? A swarm of maggots on a dead songbird, worms hollowing a mighty spurs. They celebrate the withering of life rather than its budding. They see strength from others instead of accepting what Wertha freely gives. Now they take pride in their independence from the gods, yet their leaders demand an even greater sacrifice, death for life, the strength from the spent essence of their petitioners. The ethic knoll offer another kind of servitude, and one to kith whose souls have long since rotted. The ethic knoll should save lives, not end them. Flecks of green open like buds in her eyes. Oh, on this we agree. Alright, then speak plain, will you? She gives you a mischievous half grin while her eyes fade to gray. The words of my lips are the language of the stream cleaving stones and the wind guiding seeds. If you do not understand, it is because the tongues of kith have deafened you. Wrath has sent me to end your life. It has continued for far too long.
And turned your turbulent passions against me, no doubt. What is a god that his voice should carry so far? And what are you that you should so eagerly obey? The gods only have dominion over what we seed, and you would cede matters of life and death to them.
The gods set the rules and let us do as we please, but that is merely a test, and only a fool thinks he has been ceded anything. You do what your god wants, or you face the fire. This woman is about to become an example. Are you any different? You've extended your life beyond its natural span. Through work and wisdom, the greater the tree, the more fruit it may yield. She nods at the ovates gathered in the clearing. They are vines climbing on an ancient elm into the sunlight. My growth sustains them. Should our harmony fall prey to a god's jealousy? We should not be slaves to the whims of the gods, but I find it hard to see what her followers gain from this arrangement. Your growth stunts them. Your growth stunts theirs. They learn nothing apart from you. If this is what you demand of the other of Ovius, you're no different from the ethic knoll or the gods. A storm of protest brews behind her color-shifting eyes. She says nothing for several seconds, but you see the fury slowly draining from her face as her eyes fade the brown of dead leaves. Finally, Anna lowers her head. Your words carry truth and shame. It was never my desire to diminish my followers, but I can see where perhaps my roots left no room for them to grow. Very well. My season has ended, then let me pass with it. As she closes her eyes, the warmth and color drain from her body. Her breathing slows, her ashen skin stiffening with a dull patina. When the last sigh that leaves her lungs, cracks carve their way across her flesh, dividing into hardened ridges. Within seconds, Irona has petrified, her bark-encrusted face turned toward the ovates below the dais. Well, that didn't turn into a fight. And now one more place to go. She was talking about the Ethic Null, which apparently they are over at the Sun Grove place, whatever. Gained reputation. Oh, well, that's neat. But okay. Ethic Null, Ethic Null, Ethic Null, where are they? Eccentric, faintly mixed. Alrighty then, boom. See what they got. A dwarven man stands motionless near the roaring fire that lights the cavern. Your sacrifice feeds the land. Supplicants, come forth. A gust of smoke curls around him, licking the charred flesh that bulges on his forearms. They suddenly flex. Estramor. The dwarf holds his fists into a tight grip. Your kin doesn't come here to share with the tribes. What do you want? What is this place? Blood sands. The dwarf picks on his scarred forearm. His guttural sigh mingles with the crackling of wood and bones behind him. As I said, Estramor rarely visit our halls. The Glenfathens call this place Blood Sands. We call it home. The Ethic Null have tended the land from within this cave since before the arrival of the tribes to Twin Elms. Be warned, Ishmar. We bleed life to nurture it. Our sacrifices may strike you as savage, but the health of these lands depends on them. And it's unseemly for guests to insult their hosts. Tell me about the Ethic Null. Our order has thrived for generations. Before we came to Twin Elms, our rights fed the lands of the eastern mountains. Now, we share blood for Irglandfath. Garast opens his palms. Strikes of red skin run through them like flames. To everything that must end, our sacrifices bring a new beginning. We sustain what's to come. Tell me about these sacrifices. Everything must die to return anew, Estramor. Through the sacrificial rites, we offer supplicants the honor of giving their most precious gifts back to their brethren, back to the land. The blood gives us strength. Even the Glanthfathens have come to depend on the blood paint. They brim with power before battle, all thanks to the sacrifices of their kin. Remember, Ashmore, you are a guest in these halls. Respect our ways, and will tolerate your presence among us. Okay. You're just a keeper, okay. That's who I need. That's not who I need to talk to. Do 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 do. Keeper Werda.
Hail, Estremor.
Welcome to Blood Sands. It is rare that an Ishmor sets foot in these caverns. What brings you here, I wonder? What do you do here? I sell and maintain certain goods for the preservations of our order, and I perform some of our ritual sacrifices. I'd like to see what you have for sale. Oh. Okay. You're not who I'm... You are also not who I'm looking for. Where is who I'm looking for, damn it. Nope. Here we go.
As your blood flows, so shall your essence. Your life's energy shall feed the soil, and your soul's energy shall enrich the community. This is by your own choosing, supplicant?
Yes. And the dwarf grips a hatchet with both hands and raises it over his head. He throws his shoulders forward and swings the weapon into the elf's chest, connecting with a meaty thump. Blood gushes around the blade, and the sacrifice's screams rend the air. This is why I prefer the wand to the blade, says Aloth. Despite his earlier agreement, the elf thrashes atop the stone blade, his torso aching while his arms and legs remain tied in place. Meanwhile, the dwarf spreads his arms wide and allows blood to splatter his robes. When the elf is finally silent and still, the dwarf pulls his hatchet from the body and wipes it on himself. Hey, the dwarf wears crimson robes that are stained and streaked with dark patches. His face is smooth but lacking youthful elasticity. It's as if the lines and wrinkles have been formed and erased many times over. Yeah, Lestamore.
No one comes to Blood Sands without a purpose. What is yours?
Who are you?
I am the Archdruid of the Ethic Null. For centuries, it has been my duty to guide our rituals and guard our knowledge. It is work that requires a certain resilience, but it is not without its benefits.
Reston's eerily smooth face is motionless as he watches you. You murdered a man right here. He lowers his head. You were benevolent too. Your simplistic morals do not apply here, Estremor. Murder does not enter into it.
It was a sacrifice, and one willingly entered into. The survival of all things depends on balance. Give and take.
According to Brath, you haven't done much giving. Then he can descend from his mighty pantheon and tell me himself. Tell me, Barath believes it's time for time you paid your dues. Actually, that's why I'm here.
Since when do the gods send mortals to collect? You're much too talkative to be the usher. This is the trouble with deities. They meddle in a world that they don't even inhabit. I hope.
No, this is not good. Well, I guess we're doing this.
Recepte Ayek!
Oh, nice. That's pretty good. I can do legendary? Kraken Eye? Oh. What? What? Oh wait, what am I talking about? I'm thinking mythic. Sorry. Of course I can do that. I knew I could do that legendary. Okay. Damn. Too bad these won't be able to go up to legendary. That's fine. What can you do? Ah. 32 to 47, or 33 to, or the maximum goes down by 2, but the minimum only goes down by 1. You know what? I think that's fine.